and it's a retreat place. It's way in the back. There's this guarded gate, and I remember having my in my rental car, and I pulled up, and I went to the gate, and he asked me who I was, Michael Hoffman, and why I was there, and I signed in and everything, and then I drove around about a mile and a half to get to the hotel. Beautiful gardens, and I pulled up, and there were three people standing on the stairs waiting for me, and I opened the door, and they said, "Mr. Hoffman," and I said, "Yeah." And they said, "Oh my gosh, we're so glad that you're here. Welcome back, by the way. Gosh, we haven't seen you for like a year and a half. You haven't been here since whatever event." I went, "Do we know each other?" And they said, "Steve's going to grab your bags, and Julio's going to take your car, and he's going to bring you around because I know you just got here. I just wanted to know." And he's walking me up. He goes, "We already got you signed in. I just want you to fill out the paperwork. Just sign your name at the paperwork and double check, make sure we got everything." And I got one quick question for you, Mr. Hoffman. Last time you were here, you had a Reuben sandwich that you bragged about to our chef, and he actually kind of talks about it to this day. He loves his Reuben sandwich. In fact, it's the only reason why it's still on the menu. Did you want me to get that going for you? Because I know you've had a long flight. I mean, come on. Come on. My hair was blown back. I was hugging these people in the hallway. Who are you guys? Who are you guys? And I asked him, I said, "How did you know all that information?" And he smiles and he goes, "That's a trade secret," which I loved. I absolutely loved. But if you think about it, they had systems in place that allowed this person to show me that I was important. So the guard got a name, must have called down to the gate. Mr. Hoffman's coming through. There was enough fine time for him to gather the people that he needed and for him to have the information that he had prepped for to create an impression that made me go, "I am not paying enough for this experience."
So now, please welcome the official, non-official, non-sponsor of the Savannah Bananas, but a big fan. Please welcome John Fletcher.
Well, thank you, Jesse Cole, owner of the Savannah Bananas, and welcome to today's edition of 15 on Fridays with Fletch. I first met our speaker today in 2019. He was presenting on positively outrageous service. He's a professional speaker, and he ignites and equips religious organizations and Fortune 500 companies, municipalities, and a whole lot more. Over the last 28 years, he has been one of the most engaging, explosively funny, hilarious, entertaining, insightfully unique speakers. He has this unique brand of performance comedy and interactive delivery, and he's the voice of positively outrageous service. So right now, let's join with the man who's got the right information with the right tools. Please welcome my friend, Michael Hoffman, Mr. Positively Outrageous Service. Michael, how are you doing today?
Good, John. How are you? That was awesome. I'm glad I wrote that intro. That's amazing.
That's it. Well, and you look at so humble with it.
So
So,
humble.
you present to companies all over America about positively outrageous service. Tell us what that's all about.
Well, actually, and you know what? It's not just in the States, it's all over the world. The concept of what is the differentiator between an organization and anybody else that's out there? And our products are getting pretty darn the same across the board. No matter what we do, if we're in an industry that has any type of competition, then we're facing similarities. And so the one thing that still separates us from anybody else is our experience. And that's where that positively outrageous service is a goal for any organization that wants to set a differentiation between who they are and their relationship with their customers and anybody else in the industry.
Tell us about the author TScottGross and how he impacted you.
Oh, wow. Well, T. Scott was the original author of the book Positively Outrageous Service in the 90s. T. Scott was the guy. He was the guy for service. And when this book came out, it was an instant national bestseller because it put into words what everybody felt needed to be done, but my word, tangilized it into things that we say and things that we do that have massive impact on the people in front of us. And so, you had Tom Peters with excellence, and you had everybody who had their word. They were the excellence guy. They were the productivity guy. T. Scott was the service guy, and positively outrageous service was his battle cry to encourage organizations to really own the concept of service and not just be good at it, but be positively outrageous at it. That's where we
Tell us
met.
about, yeah. So tell us about the major components of positively outrageous service.
Outrageous service is a simple concept. When T. Scott originally wrote the book, and had his speaking business on the topic, his goal, his literal goal, was to write a book about love in the business place. how do we love and love loudly at work and for the people that we work for? And to put business terms around that concept, he gravitated towards service because that's what it is. But how do we do it at a level where people walk away basically saying, this is why I shop here. This is why I love working here. This is why I love this place. And it was an instant bestseller. And what he tried to do was to sort of formulaic into, can we what can we do to get our hands around the things that I do and the things that I say that I can do to create that wow experience. And there were three main concepts that he became known for. And one was, if you really want to bring a wow to somebody, that person in front of you, which is all I want you to worry about right now, do something that is random and unexpected in a very positive way. Do something they don't expect. And all these things, I know that if you thought about it, you would go, "Oh yeah, I've had that done. That was awesome. I didn't expect it and I appreciated you going out of your way." Random and unexpected. The other one is out of proportion to the circumstances. I could have handled the situation, but because I did this, because I added this, because we took it to the next level, I stand out. And it makes that encounter when somebody walks away going, this was truly different. And the last one was play. To have a truly significant connection with a person, shoot for that emotional piece. And the emotional piece is a very positive piece. And the way you get there the fastest is through joy. And so find opportunities to bring lightness, to bring joy, to play. So play out of proportion to the circumstances, and random and unexpected. You do those three things, and you will build a reputation. You're different. I promise you.
And you talk about play. I think one of the things that Scott talked about was not everybody is in the mood to play. And so you need to be able to read the room and to read that customer to determine if they are a playful person. Tell us about that.
Well, you're absolutely right. And most of us use that as an excuse not to. So our fear is, well, people don't want to play. Well, okay, you said it first. Read the room. Obviously, there are times when we are play, but play doesn't necessarily mean, ha ha, hold my side with laughter. Play can also be the positive force in this situation. That can be play. If you've ever walked away from an encounter with somebody where you felt that, okay, finally, I've got somebody who is for me, I bet you there was positive, call it energy, call it interaction, call about their attitude that set them apart because of how they made you feel about you when they're interacting with you. And that has everything to do with a very positive emotion. We call it play. So play isn't necessarily let's pull out a board game. Play can just be bring a positive force to the situation at hand appropriately.
Now, service can be outrageous, either positively or negatively. So give us a couple examples of both.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because the original name for the book was Outrageous Service. And I love Scott's story, when he was floating the idea of it's not just service, it's got to be something more. And he doesn't want to be the service guy. He wants to be the known for the service guy. So it was outrageous service. I want you to go above and beyond, do these three things and become outrageous. But it was very clear up front that people were extremely good at finding negatively outrageous service. So hence the change of the name is our goal is to be positively outrageous in our service because we all have examples of when it really went above and beyond and went, this is why I shop here. I love you guys. And then we've all got our horrific stories of where service fell flat, when I didn't get what I expected, when I wasn't treated the way I was expected. And those are the things that really prove the point that we can have the scales. And so our goal is not just to have an experience, but to have an experience where people walk away going, thank God I got that person, or I love shopping here. This is why I stay. And
Well,
that's the goal. I don't know if I answered the question or not, but ask
yeah,
me.
and there's those legendary experiences like at Nordstrom's that they're known for the Nordstrom moment, and that's an example. What a negative that I had happen the last several days, I go to the same place to get a Coke for Rebecca and a Dr. Pepper for me and get her an oatmeal. And there's this one guy that we go to Now, there's one girl that, I mean, will take our dog and she'll play with him and everything like that. But this guy, we ask, so which is the Coke and which is the Dr. Pepper? And he every time goes, I don't know. Well, just and so we therefore want to go somewhere else because of him. So I like to say that in any given moment, in any given moment, we are whelmed, and it's up to that person to overwhelm us, or else they underwhelm us. Tell us about overwhelming versus underwhelming.
Well, I'm going to point out a few things that you brought up in your story, John. And I really think that if we get our heads around, or wrap our hands around what you just said, I think it answers everything really. Listen to the example that you gave. You had a person who was very positive, connected with you. She played with your dog. She talked to your kids. She made you feel like you were seen and heard by little choices that she made. Same thing with the other person that basically answered the question with something that sounded like I could give a flip. I don't know. Good luck finding out, type of thing. In each of those cases, they were choices in behavior. And that's one of the biggest things that is the battle cry for positively outrageous services. There's two areas that an organization needs to focus on in creating positively outrageous services. And that is getting people to understand that most of the experience our organizations have is with a person. And that person's interaction is how you help or how you impact the way the other person sees themselves. I love the definition of trust that says it's not how I feel about you that makes me trust you. It's how I feel about myself when I'm around you that makes me trust you. Have you ever been in that situation where it wasn't safe to make a mistake? We get guarded, we hold it in. But when I've got somebody that I can really kind of go, okay, they're really listening, off it comes, and I know somebody's for me. So that's one thing is they in those stories, and I've got one for you too. A couple I want to bring up as far as examples of being overwhelmed and underwhelmed. So one is the choices the individual makes, and I want to encourage my people. I want to train my people because Nordstrom's does not do service. They are an organization. They are a building. They are not a person. Their people create an experience that have you say Nordstrom's. But Nordstrom's creates that through people's interaction. So they must be trained, they must be encouraged, they must be coached to doing the things and being aware of those choices they make. And then the organization also sets up systems and processes that allow them to do it. Let me give you an example. I was flying into I think it's Amelia Island out on the East Coast. Lovely, lovely place. Lots of retreats are done out there. Executive retreats are out there. I was doing an executive retreat. I was pulling into the DoubleTree Hotel, and it's a retreat place. It's way in the back. There's this guarded gate, and I remember having my in my rental car, and I pulled up, and I went to the gate, and he asked me who I was, Michael Hoffman, and why I was there, and I signed in and everything, and then I drove around about a mile and a half to get to the hotel. Beautiful gardens, and I pulled up, and there were three people standing on the stairs waiting for me, and I opened the door, and they said, "Mr. Hoffman," and I said, "Yeah." And they said, "Oh my gosh, we're so glad that you're here. Welcome back, by the way. Gosh, we haven't seen you for like a year and a half. You haven't been here since whatever event." I went, "Do we know each other?" And they said, Steve's going to grab your bags and Julio's going to take your car and he's going to bring you around because I know you just got here. I just wanted to know." And he's walking me up. He goes, "We already got you signed in. I just want you to fill out the paperwork. Just sign your name at the paperwork and double check, make sure we got everything." And I got one quick question for you, Mr. Hoffman. Last time you were here, you had a Reuben sandwich that you bragged about to our chef. And he actually kind of talks about it to this day. He loves his Reuben sandwich. In fact, it's the only reason why it's still on the menu. Did you want me to get that going for you? Because I know you've had a long flight. I mean, come on. Come on. My hair was blown back. I was hugging these people in the hallway. Who are you guys? Who are you guys? And I asked him, I said, "How did you know all that information?" And he smiles and he goes, "That's a trade secret," which I loved. I absolutely loved. But if you think about it, they had systems in place that allowed this person to show me that I was important. So the guard got a name, must have called down to the gate. Mr. Hoffman's coming through. There was enough time for him to gather the people that he needed and for him to have the information that he had prepped for to create an impression that made me go, "I am not paying enough for this experience." Whatever it is, whatever it is. Systems and processes are just as important as teaching our people to make the choices. And that's what positively outrageous service is for an organization. Let's look at the things we have in place that allow my people to do great service, and let's encourage them and teach them to do so.
Let's take a break right here. This is the end of segment one of 15 on Fridays with Fletch with Michael Hoffman, and we'll be back in just a moment. We're going to come back with part two.